I grew up in Maryland. I'm the oldest of three. I was always taught that if you want anything, you gotta work for it, that nothing's gonna be handed to you. And I really believe that. I watched my dad come from nothing to something, and I wanted to have that same sense of pride, same sense of accomplishment. And so I've been working since I was 17 years old. I bought my first car, I got my first apartment on my own. It gives you a good feeling of independence. My parents divorced, and so we ended up in Detroit with my grandmother and my mom. I had my kids in Detroit. I'm working, single mom. We're doing good. Walked in one day from work. My mom kept my girls, and my oldest had swollen ankles. She went through over 9 months of chemotherapies, and the nurses had me on speed dial. Leanna had me on speed dial, but I was still trying to keep our roof, keep gas in our car and food on the table, and still maintain bedside manner with my ailing child. They're using conventional medicines, but they're not working, and now I have to come up with money out of pocket to use experimental medicines, stuff that insurance doesn't cover. I had to figure it out. Money for everything from cleaning of her ports to the medicines that she needed to build up her own stem cells so that we could have a stem cell transplant. You can have the best Blue Cross or PPO, HMO, LMNOP, and still not be prepared for what life serves you. And here I thought I could handle and do everything. All you needed was to be able to be independent, be a hard worker, have integrity, be responsible. It's more to it than that. I had to switch school to a night schedule and start selling cars in the daytime. I figured if we could just make it until the next check and my diploma, we would be okay. And Leanna, bless her heart, was well and trying to be my ace, my partner in all of this. I had a friend here in Texas who said, hey, you should come out here. There's a lot of opportunity, a lot of work. You have a place. You can come and you can stay with me. So I strapped on my cape, patched up the holes, put my kids in a van, and man, came to Texas. We get here, that plan doesn't go as I had hoped, and we wind up homeless in a place where there is no family. There's only me and my kids in our van from Michigan with no place to stay. I couldn't figure out how we even got to a hotel where the wind was coming in up under the door. When did we get to, the kids couldn't crawl around on the floor because the carpets were nasty in that place. And everyone's piled up in one bed, and how did I drop the ball? How did I drop the ball? I felt pretty bad. Pretty bad. Michelle, you gotta do something. You gotta fix it. Mommy can fix it. And my daughters looked at me, especially my oldest, and she said, I know you will. And we're right here. You got us. We got your back. Okay. It was late November when we showed up at the Samaritan Inn, and the only room that on the family wing that was available was actually reserved for someone that was coming. And if they didn't get there at a certain time, then they were gonna lose their spot. It was like winning the lottery when Rachel came out and said, well, that family didn't show up, and so we're going to be able to give you guys a room. But it was the hardest thing to watch other mothers have to say to their children, we can't stay. There's no room. We have to go find somewhere else. But when you came into the inn, there was warmth. You were greeted and welcomed. And then they escorted you to your room number. We had room 112, our own small little space. Rachel was the best. She knocked on the door and she said, these are your blankets. This is your stuff for your room. It said, you're home until you get home. And we're gonna help you do that. So when you enter the inn, there is a plan. You're put into a program. So our plan of action to get closer to our graduation was that Liana would stay at the inn and do all the responsibilities there, the in-house cleaning, and she would keep an eye on Kennedy and Maddie and Chase, and I would be the one that goes and works. There's a career workshop where they update your resume and they teach you about how to go and get a job. And I got 2 jobs. There were readiness classes, there were parenting classes, they had daycare workshops for the kids, even counseling for the kids and as a family. It was more than just a place to sleep and eat, but it was a place that you could really feel yourself healing and growing. That's what the Samaritan Inn does. They not only give you the fish, but they teach you how to fish. There was a chapel, so there was time for your faith. They even have a kennel, so people don't have to leave their pets behind. Even your homeless pet's not hopeless. I feel like the Samaritan Inn gave my children stability and a healthy mom. After everything that we had been through, I was stable. So we graduate from the inn. We're living in a great townhouse. Kennedy is thriving at school. I get all excited because I had gotten a new job and I'm thinking everything is going to be great. Then life happens. The van breaks down and then Liana starts to get sick. Her lungs are deteriorating and she has a major heart event. She ends up on life support for 16 days and then she's gone. When they told me she was supposed to die, she didn't. And she had everything going on. She had cancer and kidney disease. And so when you beat that and you don't die, how do you plan for that? Had it not been for the inn, had I not been built back up, I couldn't have handled that next term. Susan, one of the counselors over at the Samaritan Inn, had given me some coping tools. You allow yourself room to mourn, room to be disappointed at the outcome, but then room to heal and grow and go. A couple years later, I have a great new job and we're doing really well. Kennedy is a senior in high school and she's gotten scholarships and all kind of offer letters. Madison and Chase are healthy. My kids are allowed to be kids. They don't have to worry about where the rent's coming from or if they're gonna eat or if they're gonna be warm. And that's a good thing. We're doing good. When I was young and first got to Detroit and saw the homeless people, I thought, you brought it on yourself. That had you gone to school, had you made some better decisions, had you had more integrity, had you had a better character, had you been a little more determined, I had come up with so many judgments as to how they got into that situation. I no longer have the opinion that I did of homeless people because I've walked a mile in their shoes. And if it wasn't for the people that support the Samaritan Inn, I wouldn't be here able to say thank you. The whole operation is run on volunteers and people that have given of themselves and of their finance and of their time to nurture my family to a successful place. And they work very hard to get you there. And so from the bottom of my everything, I would say, thank you.